Clinton D'Souza from Herald.
My question is that coming back from the injury, and how important was it for you to come back after injury, and how do you feel to be back contributing back-to-back wins for the team?
Injury was a big concern for me. I think it's important to recover well and come back as strong as possible. But we started the season well. The first game we did well. The second game we performed well, but the results were not what we wanted. But right now the form is going good, and I think we have to continue this good work going on.
I have a follow-up question. Can I ask?
Yeah, Clinton, go ahead.
Okay. As you said, the team is in full form, kind of. How do you take tomorrow's match on a personal note, and also for the team as well?
The winning run has been good for us, I think, and players are confident to go in the next game. But each and every game is different from from each and every game. So I think we concentrate on particular game at one point of time and then go to the next one.
Thanks, Clinton. Shreyash from IFTWC.
Good afternoon, Mandar. So we have spent a lot of time under Sajal Opera in FC Goa as well as Mumbai City FC, and now you are playing under Buckingham. So have you observed any difference between the coaching style or playing style under both the coaches?
As you guys have seen, I think we play the same style, but Coach Dessai added some few things to it, and I think it's more, more kind of attacking. And you have seen the results going good for us, so I think that's the style we want to play throughout the season.
Thank you.
Thanks, Shreyash. Ridhiman from Khilna.
Good afternoon, Mandar.
Good afternoon.
So my question for you is, what is it like having a role as a senior player and then advising and guiding the younger players of the squad?
I've learned a lot from my seniors when I was young, and I just want to share my experience throughout my footballing career to the young ones who are coming up, and I just want to share the good things on and off the pitch so that they can perform better.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ridhiman. Rutvik from Hindustan Times.
Yeah, hi Mandar. Just a follow-up on that. You've been to various clubs and seen the different kind of clubs. But how do you think the culture is in Mumbai in terms of the atmosphere for youngsters and the kind of backing there is for the youngsters in this team?
It's very important for the youngsters to work hard. I think when they are young, be dedicated towards what they want and what they want to achieve. We are always here to help them, not only we, the coaches, all the senior staff, but it's up to the young players to work hard and be dedicated to what they want.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rutvik. Silas from the Times of India.
Yeah, just one question, like about Chennaiyin, how do you see the team for tomorrow's game, and how do you judge their strengths, and what do you think about Mumbai City? What makes you going? Like, you came into this tournament like with a change of coach, but again you have succeeded. Is it because the core has remained same, or what has been the major strength about Mumbai City this season?
Chennaiyin, I think they are doing good. They have got good results. They are unbeaten. But we have been also doing well. So we go into this game keeping all the positive things what we have done throughout the tournament. And about us, yes, as you said, you have seen that we performed. We have the same core. We have the same style of play. So I think that's the main thing which takes us forward in this tournament.
And I have just one more question. Can I go?
Yeah, sure.
Shall I come?
Sure.
Yeah. I just wanted to ask you also, over the years we have seen, the foreigners getting reduced, and this time it is at the lowest. So how do you see that, like being a senior India player and everything? So has it changed for you guys? Has things changed for the Indian players on the field? Is there more responsibility? Is there more scope to learn? How do you see this change?
More chance for the domestic players to perform. As per the AFC rule, you can only play for foreigners. But we should get adapted as fast as possible to the systems, whatever we play, and try to give our best. And we have a lot of chance to prove ourselves now. So that's the best opportunity for the domestic players.
Thanks, and all the best.
Thank you.
Anil?
Hi Mandar, good afternoon. Mandar, being on a winning run, does that put you all under a little bit of pressure, or does it give you all even more confidence?
I think when the team is winning, all the players are more confident to go in the next game and perform well. And yes, as we see, when we are doing our training sessions, we are more confident, and we just want to go and get the positive results.
Thanks, Anil. Guys, if there's any further questions for Mandar, put your names in the chat. Alright. Thank you guys. We'll just be back in a couple of seconds. Thank you all. Clinton, you can go ahead.
Hi coach, good afternoon. My question to you will be that being on top of the table, how do you feel and what do you feel about tomorrow's match?
Yeah, I said before the last game, it doesn't matter where you are on the table right now, it matters where you are at the end of the season. So we will take every game one at a time. It's important we didn't get carried away after our first result, and we didn't get carried away after the second, where we had one win and one loss. So our focus is very much on the next one. And we're expecting another tough game from a very good team. You know, they're unbeaten at the moment, the only team left in the league that is unbeaten. So it's a challenge, but one that we've had some time to prepare for, and one that we're very much ready for.
Alright, thank you so much coach, and wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Thanks, Clinton. Devayan?
Good afternoon, coach. My question is, Mumbai City banking on a good bunch of young Indian players this season. You have the likes of Amay Ranawade, then Gurkirat Singh, Apu Yadalte, and Vikram Pratap Singh is in top-notch form. So being a young coach yourself, this is what you had in mind when you took up the job, to build the team around good young Indian players?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a young coach at 36, but this is my 19th season of coaching. So I've been fortunate in that 19 years to work across a real plethora of different environments with very good people. So part of the remit behind me coming in here was my background and experience of working with youth players. You know, there's been some wonderful youth players I've worked with that have gone on to some wonderful things, and that certainly was one of the excitements that was to come in here and to take that on. You know, we've said all along we want the best Indian players, whether they're young or old, here at Mumbai, because not only do we want to develop them, we want to develop them, and we want them to play well within our style. So, you know, whether it's the young players and having the opportunity to continue developing them, or whether it's the senior players, you know, it's very much the same. But yeah, to answer your question, I think my background in working in that space was a part to me coming here as well.
Thank you. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Thanks, Devayan. Ridhiman?
Good afternoon, coach.
Afternoon.
So my question for you is, your team, as you mentioned, will be going up against a very solid defensive unit, since they've only conceded twice till now, and they're on an unbeaten streak. So how big of an advantage or a challenge do you think your side will have or face, given your team's free-scoring form?
Yeah, I think I said all along, I think every team, for every game we play in the league, will get better, you know, and teams will try to work out what we do and try and stop us from doing what we want to do, you know, and that's part of the game. So that's the exciting challenge for me as a coach, and it's certainly the exciting challenge that we have as a playing group, is to try and work out different ways that we want to play. And I spoke at the start of the season around evolving our playing style, and that's something we've worked hard at, and something we've addressed again this week, because we don't want to just be a team that plays one way. We've got some very good players here, and that gives us the ability to play different styles in different ways, which will be very important, not just for this game, but for the 14 post this one as well.
Thank you, coach. All the very best for your next game.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ridhiman. Sandeep?
Hi coach, my question is sort of along the same lines because you played the first two games against teams that sort of hold possession. You had at ATK and Mumbai, which was a team does not hold play possession football as such. And the last game probably was the hardest of them all in terms of just the competition that you had. So how do you look at these multiple challenges, and is there any one style that you would prefer to play?
No, I think that's the exciting thing about life and the exciting thing about football especially. There is no one way of doing anything. And that's the challenge and the excitement for me as a coach, and that's the challenge and the excitement for us as a playing group. Is to, we know we're going to come up against different styles and different teams and different strengths and weaknesses. But it's then up to us to make sure that we try to prepare as well as we can to do what we want and take advantage of the areas that we feel we can, whilst also being switched on and smart to try and diffuse any of the strengths that the opposition may have as well. So, yeah, different styles, different teams. It's a wonderful and exciting challenge rather than a problem for us.
Can I go one more or should I?
Yes, Sandeep, sure.
So coach, again, just wanted to ask you about the fighting spirit of the team because the last game they were a bit under pressure, the way Jamshedpur came out in the second half. So how happy are you with the fact that you could fight through that side of football, which is not really pretty, but more mental?
Yeah, I think in any moments of any game, you're never going to have total control of a game for 90 minutes or 90 plus minutes. So there will be patches and periods during any game where the momentum sits with the opposition. And it's very important that during that time that you try to minimise the opportunities that they have on your goal. Now we conceded 2 in that time. But what was really pleasing was the reaction. And we spoke earlier in the season around as champions from last year, that those types of games and when we're faced with those challenges, they're times we do need to stand up. And what was really pleasing was not only did the players stand up to that, but we recovered quickly. We went on to score the 4th goal and secure the game and the points for us. So that was hugely pleasing, and that will be a huge part to how we continue trying to pick up points as the season goes on.
Thanks coach, all the best.
Thanks, Sandeep. Shivatsan. Shivatsan, can you hear us? Okay, I think we'll come back to him. Shreyas from IFTWC.
Hi coach, good afternoon.
Hi.
So Raul Moses was a crucial player for Mumbai City FC in the last 2 years, but this season he has managed to play only around 50 minutes. So and also he wasn't included in the match day squad of the last game. So is he carrying any injury or it's just a tactical decision?
No, in pre-season, Roland picked up a small hamstring issue, so that was the reason that he wasn't in the first match day squad. And then over the first couple of games, we brought him in off the bench to try and get him some match fitness and some match time. And bearing in mind as well that Apuya and Joe Hall had started in there, they gelled together very quickly and had actually played very well in those first 2 or 3 games. So it was a case of trying to get Roland back up to fitness. And that's the case at the moment still. So he's got a small knock at the moment, which we're assessing, and hopeful we can bring him back into the group as soon as possible.
Thank you. All the best.
Thanks, Shreyas. Shilaz from the Times of India.
Yeah, coach, there are 2 aspects of this Chennai team. For the last 2 matches, they haven't scored much. I mean, the last match they scored 1 goal, and the other previous game they did not score at all. So does that comfort you at one level that this is a team which is not scoring? And also, another thing is that defensively very organized. They haven't scored, they haven't scored at all, but they haven't conceded so much. So how do you rate that organization, being a very attacking team, Mumbai City?
Yeah, I think you have to look at it in context when you say there's only 4 goals that have been scored. I think looking at the latest stats that I've seen, they are the team that leads the league with the most shots on goal. So although they may have not scored the amount that they would have liked, they're certainly creating opportunities on opposition's goal. So that's something we definitely need to be aware of, and we've prepared for, because we don't want to be the team that come game day that those chances do turn into goals. What was the second part of your question? Sorry.
How do you break the organization, defensive organization? They have a very good defensive organization. They haven't conceded much. So how do you break that?
Yeah, I said at the start it was about evolving the playing style from last year, and we've started to really see signs of that in the 5 games we have played. And it's important that during season, it's important during the season that we evolve what we do, because teams will be watching games and trying to work out how we play and how we operate, and they'll try to stop us. So it's important that we evolve our playing style in season, and we're fortunate to have a variety of different type of player here where we can mix and change, and you've seen some of the changes, especially off of the bench and different starting lineups. They're picked to have the best effect to start the game, and then it's important when we bring or make changes during the game that the players we bring on have the impact that they have been having. So it's a combination of the two.
And I have just one more question. Is it okay?
Sure,
if I move
sure.
on?
Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I mean, you are at the top of the table and the team is doing well, but how do you, guard against complacency? Like, there might be a feeling in the players that, we have been on a winning run and everything. So how do you guard against that? Do you speak to the players? And also, like Mumbai City have been considering goals. I mean, we have considered against Bengaluru, we have considered against Jamshedpur. Is that also a bit of concern? One day the scorers might not score and you concede. So is that a bit of concern? The defensive organization is a bit of concern for you?
No, I've said all along, I want us to play attractive, quick attacking football, and that does consist around us trying to create chances and take the game to the opposition rather than sit back. What we do need to be mindful of and wary of, and it's something that we are addressing, is the amount of chances that maybe we give opposition. We're not giving many chances to opposition at the moment, but what we are doing is conceding goals. And of course, there may be times during games where we don't score the amount of goals that we want, or the chances that we do create, similar to the Hyderabad game. And then that 1 or 2 goals that we do concede could cost us the result. So we do need to focus and look at that. But my focus and my time is very much spent on trying to really evolve and develop our playing style in possession, whilst also making sure that we are tactically aware and set up defensively to stop those key moments against us, because it will become important.
Yeah, and a word on complacency, like whether.
It's not. I mean, we speak on a regular basis. We meet every day with the playing group, and for various reasons. But the good thing is with this playing group, they've gone through that experience to a point last year where there was a sort of a dip in results. So they've got the experience. There's still a core group of players that have that experience of going through that slight dip, not through complacency, just that's football sometimes. So we leverage off of that, and it's so important that we just take each game at a time. And that's the focus for the players and for the staff. And it's also important that the players that take to the field continue to perform, because what you're starting to see is the players that are coming, to finish the game off the bench are really challenging those that are starting, and that's a really good high performance environment, and one that you want to continue pushing and challenging, which should continue to drive standards.
Thanks, and all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. Just a second. Aditya, your question is fairly similar, so we unfortunately going to have to skip it. Ritwik.
Yeah, hi coach. Just a couple of questions along the lines on the bit you spoke about the young Indian players earlier. Mumbai seems to be a club that is highly attractive for the young Indian guys, and the club in turn provides an atmosphere for them to kind of thrive in. So is that a huge focus for the club and the City Football Group as a whole to nurture the really young Indian players, and what's the kind of atmosphere that you as a club and as a coach provide for them to do so?
Yeah, I think as a club, I speak as a head coach of Mumbai only. I want the best young Indian players here. I want the best Indian players at this football club. I want to develop and work with these players to help progress their careers and help develop the football in India. That was the excitement about coming here, was to try and bring that skill set and help do that. What was the second part to that, sorry?
What's the kind of atmosphere you provide to ensure that happens in a way within the club?
Yeah, so we've got individual development plans for every player here, so not just youth players but senior players, and what that does, that really delves into them as a person and the areas of development, one of which they're strong at the moment, which we want to continue pushing and getting stronger. But also the areas that we feel they need to develop. What we do is make a very clear plan about what that is, they're aware of it, and then we work with them on developing that through trainings, through game footage, through gym programs. So it's a very monitored and tracked program, so we can not only see where they are now, but put things in place where we can develop them and show progression. So come the end of the season or a period of time, we can show real development within that player. So it's just, the development plans are key, But then it's important that when they get the opportunity in the games that they go and show what they can do, because that's ultimately where they're going to be judged, whether they're young or they're old.
Just a quick follow-up on that, if I may. You spoke about when they get the opportunity. You've spoken about Apuria doing well. You see a guy like Vikram turning up and scoring 2 goals. So what do you tell them before a big game, or when they do get that opportunity, to ensure that they are not kind of intimidated and they can play freely and naturally?
Yeah, it's just the continued support. There's a reason that they're being put into the game. It's because there's a huge level of trust in the players, because they've shown, I've been here now nearly 3 months, and they've shown over a consistent period that they're able to perform to the levels that I feel they will need in that space. We look across our team. We've got young Navas in goal, he's 21, Amai at right back's 23, Apuria 21, you've already mentioned Vikram. We've got Gurkrat that's come on the last couple of games as well, and there's still a lot of young players that haven't yet featured. So, it's very important that they're keen to develop, and that's been something that's really struck me since I arrived here, is how willing and open these players are to learn and to develop. And then, again, for me, it's about supporting them and providing a real positive environment around them in a training context, and then supporting them when they go into the game, because they're good enough and they're ready to do that, otherwise they wouldn't be on the field.
Thank you. Good luck, coach.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ritwik. Anil?
Hi, good afternoon, coach. Coach, after 5 games, do you think you've settled with your core group of players, the core playing style, and have you settled in with the league?
Probably not, to answer all 3 of those questions. I'm still relatively new to the country and relatively new to the league. I've done a lot of work to try and get myself up to speed as quickly as I can on both the league and the country and the players. But of course, me compared to somebody that's been here a couple of years, they're going to have a vast experience of those types of things on me. So in terms of that, I've got a lot more that I need to learn. In terms of our style and our team, I'm very happy with where we are with the time that I've had with this group. There's been a lot of change of personnel on the playing field. I think it's 11 changes, and we've obviously had a big change in staff. So for us to start the way we have is very pleasing, but it's so important that we continue focusing one game at a time, and making sure that we can continue building this playing style, because it's not just one style. It's every game we come up against is going to pose different challenges, so we need to be smart, we need to utilise the skill set of our squad, and then we need to manage the game in the game, and that's something that is going to be a continual thing over the next 15.
Coach, last game you were spotted wearing a black band. Is it alright if you can share with us why that was so, if you don't mind?
Yeah, that was a personal reason. I took a phone call back from the UK to inform me that my grandmother, my nan, had passed away. My nan was the most important person in our family. She brought me up as a young man, and she's a huge reason as to the person I am today. So that was a very sudden take. So that was the reason for the armband that I wore. It was just a mark of respect, because I can't get back and share this moment with my family. I will share it with our family here in Mumbai, but that was as much as I could do in terms of a mark of respect for my nan.
Really sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. I think there's no further questions. You can call it time. Great. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, guys. Thanks ever so much. See you.